A beautiful afternoon to us out here at the Hill in Pocket Hill, Highlands, Harare, the capital city. This is the Lunchtime News. We are live as well as streaming on our Facebook page. Your views and comments are always welcome. Do tell us where you are viewing from. I am Leanne Bernard Abigail Magwenzi on the Sign Language Desk. Here are the headlines. The recently announced 2020 school examination fees have been reversed. When we take a look at business this afternoon, manufacturing and agriculture sectors urged to strengthen their import substitution mechanisms. And in sport, Zimbabwe is urged to host more international sporting championships. Those are our leading stories this afternoon. We now bring you the story that's making the headlines. The recently announced 2020 school examination fees have been reversed, pending consultations with relevant stakeholders. This was revealed by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Ambassador Kane Matema, at a news conference held in the capital today. Comrade Matema said it has been found necessary to carry out further consultations following the publication of 2020 public examination fees. New fees will be announced after further consultations have been made with all participating stakeholders. Let's hear what he had to say.
It has been found necessary to carry out further consultations. While the examination fees that were published are based on the actual cost of each examination, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education would like to inform parents and guardians that following further representations, the recently released circular on the 2020 examination fees has been cancelled with immediate effect. New fees will be announced after further consultations have been made with all the relevant stakeholders. Parents and guardians are therefore advised to continue paying the old fees approved in 2015. Please be advised that the deadlines for examination fees payment remain the same.
And that's the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Ambassador Kane Matema, there speaking on the recently announced 2020 school examination fees have been reversed. And our government says the forum agenda for state enterprises and parastatals is yielding positive results, with some companies earning profits and declaring dividends, whilst others have reduced losses. And now let's hear the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Senator Monica Mchangwa, speak.
Cabinet noted with satisfaction the progress report on the implementation of state enterprises and parastatals reforms as presented by the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Professor Mutuli Ngumbe. The new dispensation requires state enterprises and parastatals, some of which remain key enablers to business and investment, both domestic and foreign, to play a pivotal role towards the realization of Vision 2030's aspirations for a prosperous and empowered upper middle income society. The reform initiatives are being implemented at a time when the majority of the strategic state enterprises and parastatals have been operating suboptimally, optionally, as evidenced by their failure to adequately perform and fulfill their mandates. Much ground was covered during 2019 towards revamping performance of public entities under the State Enterprises Reform Framework, is articulated in the Transitional Stabilization Program 2018 to 2020. The implementation of the reform strategy for the public enterprises and parastatals has been integrated and now embraces the following critical aspects. 1. Restructuring, privatization, and commercialization of public entities, to improved corporate governance of public entities, 3, a sustainable remuneration framework for public entities, and finally, facilitative and transparent public procurement systems and processes across all public entities.
And now all is set for the political actors dialogue Pollard Economic Summit to be held tomorrow. And the President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, will be officially opening this summit. And now Pollard Economics Committee Chair, Mr. Trust Chikoera, is on the line now to give us the finer details as we expect tomorrow.
The Pollard Economic Summit is going ahead tomorrow, starting from 9 in the morning up to the afternoon. All is set, all the speakers have confirmed, all the invitees are ready to attend. We are ready to roll tomorrow. We are ready to put our heads together as business leaders, as development partners, diplomats, political leaders, government ministers, everybody who is a key stakeholder in the economy, including labor leaders, the stock exchange, everybody. We are ready to put our heads together tomorrow so that we can grapple with the issues affecting our economy and come up with recommendations on the way forward in order to develop our economy, in order to grow our economy, and in order to move forward on a road to prosperity.
Many thanks to the Political Economics Committee Chair, Mr. Trust Chikoera, giving us the updates for tomorrow. And now government's drive to provide affordable public transport has received yet another boost following the arrival of more than 60 Zubco buses from China.
These are the fruits of the Look East policy by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, as the second batch of Zubco buses have landed here at Beitbridge Border Post en route to a number of destinations throughout the country where they are supposed to assist people with transport at affordable rates. It is no secret that Beitbridge Border Post is always a hive of activity, but there was an added feature to the movement at the port of entry this Monday and Tuesday, following the arrival of another batch of Zubco buses, which comes as good news to Zimbabweans using public transport, while the current Zubco fleet has already had a positive impact on the generality of Zimbabweans by cushioning them against high transport costs. The addition of 65 buses is set to see the parastatal servicing new routes. People who spoke to ZBC News in Beitbridge this Tuesday hailed President Emmerson Mnangagwa's vision, saying, apart from assisting the general public, jobs have also been created.
Public transport yanga iri kusafa yaenda ne$10 anodzoka ne$15 kukanaya price inochinja iko zvinezvi kuya kwataita nemabhazi aya vazhinji vachawana mabasa vakawanda vane maclass 1 vane mazirawo ari kumusoro vanowana mabasa vane malicense avo ane ma5 years experience zvichienda mberi basa rinenge rapo.
Bhazi achabaza nekuti mabhazi akawandawo transport inodzika unoti vanhu vakawanda vari kuchema nekuti transport iri kuyanga ichinetsa sezvamunoziva kuti mabhazi mazupwa anga achifamba ari mashoma saka akawandawo makiu anoto mashoma vanhu vanofambawo zvakanaka vane mabasa vanosvika kumwe basa nguva iriko nevangachogara mumakiu aya nguva yakareba vachakwanisa kuzokwanisa kuendawo kumba vachikwanisa kufamba kwakachena vosvika kumba.
Mari dzine dzichadyiwa takura vanhu dzakachipa kuti munhu anokwanisa panokwira makombi.
The revival of Zubco is a fulfillment of promises by the new dispensation led by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Sifiso Spanda, ZBC News, Beitbridge.
Now Zimbabwe is ready to host the African Regional Forum on Sustainable Development, the ARFSD, which will be held in Victoria Falls from the 24th to the 27th of this month. This comes at a time when the United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP, has been at the forefront of supporting member states towards achieving their Sustainable Development Goals, the CDGs. And now we spoke to the UNDP resident coordinator, Mr. Georges Van Monfront, on what is entailed with the SDGs framework and what this means for Zimbabwe to host the forum.
This is a huge opportunity also for Zimbabwe. What does this entail for a country like Zimbabwe as we're looking at how far we've gone in achieving our sustainable development goals?
So first, I think it's a great opportunity for Zim to host, just because people will get to see this country and will see the beauty of this country, because I think that's an important factor. Out there, there's a perception of Zimbabwe that doesn't congrue with what we know living here in Zim. So I think that's first and foremost an opportunity to showcase what Zimbabwe is about. Secondly, not only will Zimbabwe host, Zimbabwe becomes the chair of the Africa Forum, and in doing so helps prepare Africa's position to the world. So it's a very important role. Beyond the fact of sort of hosting all these delegations in Victoria Falls, it's about really setting the priorities for the continent, really looking at what are the challenges, where have we done well as a continent, and how do we pitch our progress or our need for progress to the global community. So I think we really look at it as, yes, this is an event, but the fact that Zimbabwe is now chairing, or as of next week will be chairing the forum, provides a significant opportunity for voice, for amplification, not just the Zimbabwean voice, not of the Southern Africa voice, but of the African voice in the global debates on sustainable development goals.
And our local authorities have been challenged to concentrate more on local development to accelerate national economic stability.
The call for local authorities to focus more on economic development than administrative issues topped the agenda of an economic development workshop held in Mboera recently to find ways of improving livelihoods, especially in rural communities. Commonwealth Local Government Forum Project Manager Leopold Boroma said local authorities are funded by economic activities in their areas, hence they need to give priority to economic development activities.
Principally, local authorities are funded by economic activities in their area. So it becomes important that they also pay particular attention to the local economic development of their areas.
Local councillors concurred that they should be drivers of economic development in their wards.
A project, my income generating projects, a moon by moon, tingamuti household, what she could saga. Iwa and Opanova development in district, yes.
Is it a link?
The way chairperson will development. Sakonfa kugona kuunganidza vanhu vako muchigona kuronga kuita maprojects enyu muri pamwe chete.
The call for a paradigm shift from politics to economics has been President Mnangagwa's key message since taking over leadership of the country. Kenyan Sifuje, ZBC News, Mboera.
The National Gene Bank has embarked on a restoration program for all 300 different seeds in areas that were affected by the cyclone Idai. And now joining us on the line to give us these details is Kudzai Gumbo. Good afternoon, Kudzai.
The cyclone Idai has adversely affected the agricultural sector as it threatens the food security and nutrition. The head of National Gene Bank, Mr. Kudzai Kusena, says they've embarked on a program to restore all the lost seed varieties during the Cyclone Idai disaster. The National Gene Bank had fortunately collected more than 300 different types of seed in the areas 5 years ago and are ready to restore the lost seed. Apart from the lost seed, the topsoils were washed away, thereby affecting productivity in the area, and wild fruits have also been affected. After the Cyclone Idai disaster, a number of organizations donated seed, food, clothing, among other things. However, due to different climatic conditions, some of the seed were of little help as the varieties could not withstand the weather patterns in the areas. The National Gene Bank is a department in the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Rural Resettlement that oversees the plant genetics and preserve all types of seed in the country. Kudzai Gumbo, ZBC News, Harare.
Kudzai Gumbo there, taking us to a break. Here are some of the stories to expect in the bulletin. Manufacturing and agriculture sectors urged to strengthen their import substitution mechanism. And in sport, Zimbabwe urged to host more international competitions to enhance the nation's brand. These and other stories to come. Do join us shortly after this.
Technological change is transforming global business like never before. Competition is increasing, shifting customers' tastes and requirements. Discover, learn, and harness converging technologies and become smarter in the 4th Industrial Revolution at the 7th edition of the CEO Africa Roundtable from 18 to 21 March 2020 in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. Speakers include Jerry Rionge, Sibongile Sambo, Professor Alemaye Geda, Velindaba, Brian Kagoro, Dr. Nkosana Moyo, Chipom Tasa, among others. To register, contact Fungai at ceoart.org or call +263 715 427 935 or Agrina on +263 716 473 576 or email agrina@ceoart.org. CEO Africa Roundtable, championing economic development across Africa.
Once again, we are at it together. We are absolutely everywhere and we love it. This is what makes us tick. This is what makes our heart beat. It is always on the edge. It is always football time.
Don't miss any of the action. DSTV, where it's always football time.
A warm welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Informal traders in Mutare have launched an informal association to promote their interest and improve communications with the local authority as well as the government. Let's take a look.
The need to facilitate positive dialogue between informal traders and local authorities has given birth to the Mutare Informal Traders Association MITA, which was launched this Tuesday. MITA spokesperson Brilliant Mpovu says the new association supports President Emmerson Mnangagwa's values of dialogue, order and cleanliness, adding that the organization does not support informal traders that operate in undesignated places.
Chekutanga ndechekuti donzo rekutanga rakanga riri kuti mamutare muno makanga musina in association inomirira vanhu. Vanhu vaingoita jakara kwese kwese. Waiona paine ma loosely coordinated committees ari koko, imwe committee iri koko, imwe iri koko, pasina vanhu vakanyatsobatana zvakanaka. Saka takafunga kuti isusu tikabatana tiri pamwe chete tochimirira zvichemo zvese zvinosangana nevanhu.
The Minister of State for Manicaland Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Dr. Helen Gwaradzimba, commended informal traders for coming together to form an organization that will work together with local authorities and government to address their needs.
This is a welcome development to the people of Mutare and Manicaland as a whole, in that when people come together in an organized fashion, it will be possible for leadership and even us government and the council to coordinate the activities.
Minister Gwaradzimba also noted that the launch of the new association should help to promote the marketing of abundant produce as local producers are facing market challenges. Kenya Sifushe, ZBC News, Mutare.
And now over 1,000 youths from various schools in and around Harare converged at Allen Wilson High School for the launch of the Youths and Students for Peace, the YSP Zimbabwe chapter. The initiative is a platform for youths across the world to engage in peace building and sustainable development.
Founded in 2017 by a South Korean national, Dr. Hak Jae-moon, and spread across the globe, the Youth and Students for Peace Initiative is a massive program whose main objective is raising a peace-loving future generation with a positive impact on society. Speaking during the launch, YSP Secretary General Kenta Kishi said he is confident the engagement will help mold young people into valuable assets.
YSP is promoting the dream for youth, and many youth are suffering because of no dream, no vision. And that's why we promote the vision to the students.
And now we take a look what's happening in the world of business coming up next. The economic analysts have urged the manufacturing and agriculture sectors to strengthen their import substitution mechanisms to achieve economic growth. And now our reporter Davison Vandira is on the line to give us more.
Zimbabwe's economic commentators have urged the industry to strengthen its import substitution mechanism in a multi-purpose approach meant to address productivity issues inside Zimbabwe, as well as to increase the savings on the much needed foreign currency, as well as employment creation, whereby in the past Zimbabwe used to have a symbiotic relationship between the agricultural sector and the manufacturing sector, whereby the output from the agriculture was used as inputs into the manufacturing sector, and the output of the manufacturing sector was also the inputs of the agricultural sector. And that mechanism used to work for Zimbabwe in a special way, and analysts have also called for the return of that kind of a symbiotic relationship between the industry and the agricultural sector. These issues have been necessitated by the recurrent need of the Zimbabwe to have foreign currency and the shortages that the country is currently facing, whereby the country is importing almost everything in terms of the raw materials for the agricultural sector, as well as the raw materials for the manufacturing sector.
And that's a wrap in our business news. We now take a look what's happening in our international news as we closely follow the COVID-19 updates. The process of evacuating passengers from the virus hit a cruise ship off the coast of Yokohama, Japan, has begun after 14 days of a quarantine. An outbreak of the COVID virus has seen at least 542 passengers and crew infected on the Diamond Princess. Some nations are evacuating their citizens from the ship as infections continue to rise. According to the latest Chinese release, the COVID-19 has now claimed over 2,000 lives in China. There have been more than 74,000 confirmed infections in mainland China and around 700 cases in other countries around the globe. And now from international news, we bring you back home and take you now to our Montrose studio where Marilyn Gwenya is on standby to give us more. Marilyn, good afternoon.
Afternoon, and it's always a pleasure, Leanne. Now, Zimbabwe has thrown its weight behind the establishment of the proposed SADC Regional Energy Regulatory Authority, whose mandate is to regulate cross-border energy trade and promote investments in the sector.
The findings and recommendations of the British Council-initiated Next Generation Research was presented to various stakeholders in Gwanda this Tuesday. Youths who spoke to ZPC News expressed concern over the high number of learners who drop out of school owing to the unavailability of basic necessities, falling pregnant and ill health. The high number of females between the age of 18 and 24 who have resorted to prostitution also saw youths calling on government to create more economic opportunities for women.
Wakhangela bathe khona abantu abaningi bangena informal sector. Bengena informal sector kunjalo abaningi babusha ukuthi abala skilled work abangayi offer. So besikhalela ama vocational training sites ukho khona at least abantu benganjani bengatraina ngoba most of the people abahamba kwi-informal sector akula-skill.
Kugcwele abotsheketsha bayabe le mali beflasha amarandi landayo, so bacantile izinto engathola ngayo imali ukuthi ngiprovide ama-service lawo. But at the same time kuningi abotsheketsha abafunayo ukuthi umuntu nxa engathengisa kumbe abathungile bala ama-families balandandandani nxa engathola i-income through abotsheketsha bandabo but ngezinye indlela not ngemisebenzi yakho because kuningi ababa-exposed to.
Representatives of various government departments said the research will guide their programming and inform policy formulation.
It's just to say this is a very good document in that much as we interrogate it, we are not actually questioning the validity of the report, but I want to look at it in terms of the document giving us work to do, because it is the findings from this report that is going to inform us as different ministries, as private sector, on how we can then address some of the issues that are presented by this.
All right, that was a report from Sifiso Mpofu, where the people of Gwanda have expressed optimism that the findings of a research which highlights the challenges and aspirations of young people in the country will help address the socio, political and economic challenges faced by youths in Zimbabwe. And now in our following report, Zimbabwe has thrown its weight behind the establishment of the proposed SADC Regional Energy Regulatory Authority, whose mandate is to regulate cross-border energy trade and promote investments in the sector.
The ongoing Regional Electricity Regulators Association of Southern Africa, RERA annual conference being held in Victoria Falls has seen delegates stressing the urgent need to accelerate the implementation of strategies to expand the region's generating capacity and establishment of the proposed SADC Regional Energy Regulatory Authority, SERERA. Energy and Power Development Permanent Secretary Dr. Gloria Magombo said Zimbabwe supports the establishment of the proposed SERERA, which has an important role to play in creating a sustainable regional energy market and unlocking investments.
It's important to have a regional body which then looks at all these regional projects which we are looking at. Because at a regional level, we are not just looking at maybe power generation projects, but we are also looking at regional transmission projects, and these have to be then regulated at a much higher level. And as government, we are in full support of such an initiative, because like I've said, energy requires a bigger customer base, and we can only provide a de-risked environment by making sure the region trades as one.
Meanwhile, African Development Bank Chief Regulatory Specialist for Southern Africa, Ms. Rhoda Msana, says there's need to improve independence of energy regulators in the region.
We have provided a recommendation that regulators should work with policymakers to see how we can amend legislation that will limit conflicts of interest so that this does not hinder the regulator from performing their duties.
Running under the theme Creating a Conducive Environment to Enhance Regional Energy Security, Trade and Investment, the symposium, which runs from the 16th to the 21st of February, will see participants deliberating on strategies to achieve energy security in the region. Lakmo Safulis, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
We'll now move on to sports news, where the Minister of Sport, Kirsty Coventry, says it is important for Zimbabwe to host more international competitions to enhance the nation's brand. She said this at a press conference in Harare. Francis Nyamtamba is on the line to give us more.
The Minister of Youth, Sport, Arts and Recreation, Kirsty Coventry, holding a press conference to appraise the media on forthcoming events, Troutbeck Africa Cup that will be held in Nyanga this coming weekend, as well as the African Shooting Championships that are set to be held in Victoria Falls next week. The Minister alluding to the fact that it is vital that as Zimbabwe we stage such international competitions which are critical in enhancing the Zimbabwean economy. She did highlight the fact that it is also important to stage such international competitions in as far as aiding the competitiveness of our athletes, given that some such a high-profile events do play a pivotal role in terms of improving the performance of our athletes that are exposed to top competition against top athletes that will be coming in the country from across the globe.
From the Lunchtime News team for today, good afternoon.
Hello, and welcome to Miss Bookie's Storytime. Today I'm going to tell you a story about Tortoise. There was a time when, although Tortoise was very small, he had a very high opinion of himself. He would boast to whoever would listen. But soon, the big boys began to get irritated, especially Elephant and Hippo. How could such a weak little creature think he had such as powerful as us? Well, it's bye for now.
Boys and girls, my name is Antisha Main from Ashmill Infant in Nursery School. Today we are going to do our lesson on painting. We want to do a hand print of a flower. Alright, what we need is we need sand, we need glue, we need paint brushes, and we need paint. What color is this?
Red.
Red, well done. And this?
Green.
Well done. And this?
Yellow.
Excellent. And we have? So what I want you to do now is to dip your hands inside the paint. Matipa, dip your hands inside the paint. Dip here. Well done. Another one. Well done. Tinashe, dip your hands inside the paint. Yes, well done. Another one. Well done. Alright, now you can put your hands here. The other one. Same as you, Tinashe. Well done. Then we go to Unati and Kayla. Dip your hands inside the paint. Wait, Kayla. It's okay. That's enough. Well done. Alright, now you can put your hands here. Good. Let's go, Kayla. Dip your hands. This one here.
Look my hand.
It's okay. We're going to wash them later. Well done. The other one. Well done. Now you can put your hands here. Yes. So now we have our what? Our flower inside the what? The vase. So if I put glue here inside the vase, don't worry about your hands. We're going to wash them later. Okay. Now you can take what? Sand and paste inside the vases. Take sand and paste inside the vases like this. Same as you here. Start pasting. Don't put too much sand.